Hi, I'm Nick Shell, a certified Enneagram coach. I'm happy that you chose to spend your time watching this video. Now that tells me you already probably know a little bit about Enneagram, and you may be led to believe that you also could be a 6 like me. I'm a counterphobic 6, wing 7, meaning that everything I do ultimately is a result of me acting out of fear, and you see that in my personality, but I pretend that I'm not afraid, and most of the time I convince myself I'm not actually afraid, and I do an even better job sometimes of convincing everybody else. The concept of fake it till you make it. So, I want to talk about board games. That's very relevant. If you're a 6, you may find that you're the person who, more than anyone in the room, enjoys board games. So I want to talk about this now based on a true story. Earlier today, I'm filming this on the last day of 2022 on a Saturday. My family and I, we went to Barnes & Noble. My kids had some gift cards, which is funny because they bought like toys there. My wife and I bought a couple of books. One of the books I bought, of course, is an Enneagram book. But I also bought this. Let's talk about this. So, $12. Original price is $50. Now, another part of being a 6 is that we are very practical, and we don't want to spend more money on anything than we have to. So I love going to the last chance section at the bookstore and looking at what smart board games they have, which are usually like based out of different countries, like Germany, for example. So this one, Tiny Towns, I mean, you can tell by how shiny it is. I haven't taken out the plastic. I just bought this, but you know, use resources to construct buildings and build your town. And it's a family game, kind of looks, my son said it looks like Animal Crossing. So I look forward to playing that. But let's talk about the psychology of that. And of course, I'm going to be talking about this a lot in my Enneagram journal that I started. Anytime I have some kind of epiphany that goes back to my Enneagram, which is 6, which is acting out of fear, it's up to me to ask why. Why is that something I react to? Because being a 6, I react differently than the other type out there, the other 8s. So here's what I wrote. Why games matter to me. Here's what I wrote. I said they provide a reason and a space for the group to positively interact and lead to fun, quality time, the opposite of scrolling phones, which I guess I'll put a different video for scrolling phones. But it's very important to me, and I became certified for Enneagram a little over a year ago. But the Christmas before that, I bought a nice nostalgic edition set of Monopoly, and I took it to the Christmas. We traveled 3 hours away where there's more family, and I was the one who brought that game and initiated that and made sure we played several rounds of it. It's funny because my motive was just because we always had Monopoly as a kid, but we didn't play it often because it took too long. Nobody had the patience for it, but I'm an adult. How about I lead the group and we'll set aside 2 hours to play this game? But I've noticed that since then, I've always been attracted to board games, and often at bookstores, again, you can get them really cheap. So we have a closet full of them over the years where I spent $8 on this thing, but my kids play with it. Even if it turns into more of a toy sometimes, so be it. Because at least it's a reason for us to sit down together and have some fun and play in some way. But whether it's a board game, whether it's a card game, any type of game, especially chess, which by default would probably be my favorite actually. But you can understand that if you're a 6, that you do have a 5 wing, whether it's your dominant wing or not, it's there. And what's that 5? 5 is like the chess number that really, if there was one Enneagram that would be chess, it'd be a 5. It's all about analytics and strategy. And it's like a one-on-one game. So that's a big part of me, and I always love chess. But then also I've got a 7 wing, which is my more dominant wing now, but 7 is all about having fun, and as it relates to going 6, having fun with people. So I'm very much focused on family and small groups specifically. That's where I found my value. But I'm analytical and strategic, and I want to have fun, and I want to provide stability. So you can imagine a 6 is going to be the one who's going to initiate games with people. So that was always so subtle with me. I mean, I can even think back to one of my favorite Christmases as a kid. I think it was Christmas of '88. And my parents just got a bunch of board games, which they still have at their house today. Ones that you probably couldn't buy now, like bumper cars and stuff like that. But that was one of my favorite Christmases. Getting new games, board games, and then being able to play them just constantly. So that's always been a part of me, but now I'm embracing it. And I'm enjoying collecting games and playing them. It's funny because this past Christmas, which for me was last week, I was able to get Catan, if I'm even saying it right. Settlers of Catan. I don't know if I'm even saying it right. It's a $60 game. And I had a gift card from work, and then it was half off, so I basically got it for free. So, we spent a lot of Christmas trying to figure this game, finally figured it out. And what's funny is, was it fun? Well, we played it a couple times, spent hours doing it. I don't even know if I can tell you that it was fun, but that's not what matters to me as a 6. What matters to me is I'm spending time with people that I care about, and we're doing something using our brains, and we're being creative, not just looking at phones. So that makes, again, I'll have to make a separate video about phones and why that makes me feel like I'm not even alive, but it makes me feel alive to be playing games. So whether it's Monopoly or Rummy on cards or Uno, it doesn't even have to be a complicated game. Like, I do like the challenge as a counterphobic 6 of having a challenging game like Catan that I can barely figure out, or Monopoly that can be intimidating because there's so much going on. But even just chess, it's not something everyone even knows how to play. So you can understand that more than any number, party games, board games, card games are going to be very attractive to a 6. So I want to close this video by asking you, are you a 6, and do you find yourself drawn to games? And have you ever thought about, like, you may be the main person in your friends group or your family group that is always the one initiating that. And if you are, there's a good chance that it's because you're the 6. From a psychological point of view, as a 6, you have a fear of being disconnected from your family, from your society. So what do? You initiate things that bring people together, kind of like a community builder sort of situation. And there's a good chance that that's why you've always been that way. So yeah, I would love to hear that. Even if you are like the main game person in your family or group and you're not a 6, I would still love to hear from you. I mean, you might be a 5 with a 6 wing, or even a 7 with a 6 wing. You may even be a 9. It very well could be. Because that's part of the stress of a 9 that becomes a 6 or whatever. So maybe if you're stressed during the holidays, like, let's play a game, or something like that. Could be. Or you could be a 3 and you just are obsessed with winning, and that's the reason you like to play games. I would love to hear from you. Your comment belongs right here.